This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Yeah, doing the Disney.
You had a couple of resurrects?
I did have a resurrect. I don't know if this is as much of a resurrect as it is whatever term we haven't come up with yet for things that we just like and want to encourage to keep going. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily that it ever died.
Revive?
Yeah, right. I want to,
Chess battles?
Yep. Okay. I want to keep it flowing. This is another thing that I have, as I've discussed on this pod before, I like and have observed a lot of things that dads say. Having grown up not with my dad, but having friends whose dads were very sitcom daddy.
Your dad was there. He was just things dads say, like 3 on black.
Yeah.
7 on red.
I'll split 8s.
Yeah.
There's things that I have highlighted that I like in the past, such as when dads get mad, take a hike, show's over, pal. And then one that I have started to notice that shows over, pals. Yeah, that's the final level of dad anger. But one that I really like, that I think you notice more over like holiday seasons when you see more families, is this thing where when you tell a dad anything involving a company, like, oh, I use Discover as my credit card, or, oh, I have an account with Gmail. No matter what, they always say that's how they get you. They love to tell you that anything is how they get you.
That's how they get you.
Even if you have not got by this company, you're just like have a free account with them. Yeah. That's how they get you.
Well, it's like if you were like, oh yeah, when you sign up for Chase, you get these travel points.
That's how they get you. Exactly. They have to take a thing and they have to make it. They have to put a negative spin on it.
My mom was doing this probably because my mom has always been mom and dad. I went to that outlets in Atlantic City recently, like the nice, like typical whatever that chain of outlets is, and got nice stuff for very low cost.
Love the outlets.
And my mom was essentially that's how they get you. Because I was like, look at these jeans. I got them for like $12, like $150. And she was like, And I was like, what? And she was like, I'm sure there's a reason they were there in that price. I'm like, I actually don't agree with that at all. I was like, I put it on. It felt no different than other. Like, what do you think I'm going to come home and like grow a tail or something? Like,
that's how they get you.
To be fair, the pair of jeans I got have a stamp that say irregular on them. Did I tell you this yet?
No, that's funny.
So I got
on the outside?
They're on the inside.
Like on
so
the
it's
ass?
like clearly. But I was like, my joke was like, these are the best jeans that have ever fit me in my life. And they just have a big stamp that say irregular.
You just have an irregular body,
like,
and that's
why
okay.
would you put a big black ink stamp on white jeans no matter what? So the inside just says irregular.
Oh, okay, that's funny. So that's
but it was totally like that's how they get you. It was like she's so cautious of the outlets, and I'm like, that's kind of what you roll the dice with. I'm like, most of the stuff's super expensive, but like you're rolling the dice with any fast fashion,
anything.
Unless you can buy extremely high-end couture clothes, you're buying something that's made in Malaysia, Bangladesh. Like, what are we talking about?
Yep.
Look at any like tag of anything.
Yep. And but they don't want to hear that. They want to hear,
and not dismissing factories abroad if they're safe and compliant. However, like if we're talking about quality, most of the places are no different in what they're doing, like a Forever 21 to a Gap.
Exactly. Yeah.
Except your perception of the brand.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so I'll get these jeans for $12.
Yeah.
And I'll see what they fall apart while I'm wearing them. But I've ripped jeans.
Well, that's how they get you.
That is how they get you.
Is the problem. Yeah. And yeah, I've always felt that way with my mom about like the joke, like the line just being that like I feel like you cannot tell a white mom anything good without them telling you to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, I had a new job, be careful. Like it's their version of like someone's trying to get something over on you.
Was your mom raised Catholic?
No, she is Christian, but her dad was the pastor.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, pastor's daughter.
I was like that too. I was like,
be careful.
Like the Christianity shame, Catholicism shame, like anything. I'll be like, I'm doing this. My mom's like, okay.
Yeah. It's your funeral. You're like, what do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know about Discover credit cards?
I've just seen things. I've just heard.
It is. And it's like, because dads always play it off like they've been burned before by whatever you mention. And it's like, oh, you went to Forever 21 and had this issue?
My aunt was like complaining to me. And my aunt, I will say, like flies a bit, but she goes between 2 states where she has 2 living situations. And she was like telling me I was going somewhere, and she was like, well, measure your suitcase. They keep changing like the compliance rules.
Yep. That's a great one.
And I was just like, okay, like airport, anything.
Any airlines,
like, that's how they get
they
you.
have to tell you that's how they get you.
She was just like, yeah, measure your suitcase. And I finally just was like, okay. And I just was like, respectfully, like, my suitcase is quite literally TSA compliant. Like, you buy TSA compliant
I fly
ones,
with it.
I'm also trying not to fly airlines that change rules while you're mid-flight.
Yeah, I'm not on Frontier, sweetie.
Yeah. I am not flying the plane.
Yeah,
my suitcase is fine.
Yes. No, that is, airlines are a great example of that because they will always tell you that that's how they get you. And it's just always like when you get a deal, when you get something good, parents have to tell you that you're an idiot for taking that.
Yeah.
Even though it's basically like a judgment trust. Like they would probably take it too, but they just think you didn't look into it.
I also think this has to do with how we both perceive life because we're both just like, okay, so what? I have the $12 jeans. Like,
great.
Okay, so what? My suitcase might be a little over when I get there. I'll figure it out when I get
Yep.
I'm not going to not be let on this plane.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, literally what suitcase is not in some way TSA compliant? They make 2 sizes of suitcases. Carry on. And then they make many different.
I've been on a flight where someone was trying to shove something in the overhead and they were told it'll fit and it doesn't. I watched a girl leave a flight because she wanted to keep her big, hardback like suitcase under her feet. And she had her feet on top of it. And the flight attendant was like, well, you obviously can't do that.
Yeah.
And she was like, then I'll get off this flight. And they were like, okay.
What was
and she
in
just got off.
That suitcase? A dog?
That she like didn't put it over her head or anything. Like
dog.
Maybe she had lost it before and like just was so fed up and was like thought she could get away with that. Because like to be fair, like it wouldn't have slid. Like it would like the issue of backpacks and stuff is like sliding from under the seats. But she didn't even fight. She just was like, okay. And then everyone had to move out of the way and she just left the flight.
So this is a great segue into something I wanted to talk about today. I know I don't usually bring topics into.
Did you get kicked off a flight?
No, but I think you know what I'm going to say. We talked about this before when this happened to you.
Yes.
I would like to talk about some internet heat I've been getting. And I would like to know. I would like to talk about how
AITA.
I have really done some digging and I really do not think I did anything wrong here.
Your mistake? Posting on the internet.
Posting on the internet, yes.
Your crime? Disability.
Your sentence? Death. Rotting.
That's the punishment. You don't know? You don't know?
Rotting in jail. So I posted on TikTok saying about how, and I was trying to say this in the way of like, when someone is like, hey, now that they're rebooting the Wonder Years, that's amazing. Let's reboot Three's Company also now that we're at it.
No, right? You dumb whore.
Yeah. So you're saying the Wonder Years fucking sucks and they shouldn't have rebooted the Wonder Years?
Oh, now we should just reboot everything because the best show that was ever made get rebooted and every girl has an opinion.
Yep. And oh my God, why do you hate the Wonder Years? The Wonder Years is a good show.
Sorry,
and I'm like,
I was just guessing what comments could be like.
Yep. You've seen comments before.
Posted.
So I posted and I said, because as you probably know, and many people probably know, Southwest does this thing now where passengers who are physically larger, who have trouble fitting comfortably into one seat without like into the other seat, are now able to get a second complimentary seat if they, if they ask for it and if there's availability on the flight, right? Not just always, if it's not sold out. And
this is like when they show up for the flight or ahead of time.
So ahead of time, you can like call and ask for it. But then obviously if the flight is oversold, whatever. But
previously you would have to just purchase 2 seats.
You would have to purchase 2 seats. And still airlines do this like shitty thing where if somebody purchases 2 seats, they'll still be like, no, we're just going to refund you for the one. And we need to like get another person on there. And often it's you know how flight members people who work for airlines are allowed to get on last minute flights.
Yeah.
So it's just like their friend who's an airline or a flight attendant or something. And now I'm going to get heat from flight attendants. You can't win. I'm saying this is a great rule that we're doing for people who have trouble with traditional size seats because of their comfort and the comfort of the people next to them. It's a win-win-win-win, right? Also, I was saying how love this rule. And when I am on oxygen, I have to hold my backpack in my lap because it can't go under my seat. I already have another bag in my lap for the flight. And like a little toddler, I can't use my tray table. It really sucks. Sometimes I can put it on the floor, but almost always they come by and they're like, that needs to go under or whatever. And so I was saying, like, now that we're making these new rules, or like now that clearly the CEOs of airlines have a heart, this is great. I'd love to also extend it to that. And boy, did I get heat for it from people on TikTok. I think you saw some of the comments telling me that I am trying to Satan herself. Yeah. I'm being ableist somehow.
Can I read some of them?
Please.
Okay. Keep telling us about how did that make you feel?
Very frustrated because every time someone commented, I was commenting back and I was like, to be clear, I'm saying this is a great rule. People were acting like I was doing it like, no, not Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. When I was saying like, yes, this is a great new rule. And I'd love to, while we're at it, extend it to this, thinking that I would have support from people.
Okay, so your post says, in light of the fact that airlines offer a free extra seat for passengers who can't comfortably fit in just one, which is not specifically also pinpointing fat people.
I also never said fat people. I'd like to get into that because somebody wrote it in quotes later and said it's not just, quote, fat people. And I was like, I never said that at all. I didn't even say that it was about
you
size.
Just say, I'd love to also add to list for your consideration. Can I please have an extra seat for my oxygen tank? Please, please, please.
And also, I wrote the word also in all caps. Did I not?
You could literally just take advantage of the policies yourself. They exist for anyone that needs a second seat to accommodate them for any reason. Also, it's only free on Southwest. This take is not it. Why do you shame others' accommodations because you don't get what you want?
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I'm a piece of shit.
Wait. I always sit next to a window and set my feeding tube upright against the wall.
Like set because the bags are much smaller. Like up again, not my size.
I
bag.
thought you meant like a direct feeding tube. I was confused.
Yeah. I think that meant like whatever it's attached to the feed.
Do you have to take down people in larger bodies? Maybe we should both be accommodated.
Agreed. Why do you have to take down me? We're saying the same thing.
I gotta tell you, that person's never been on a flight because they've never seen anything but the inside of their mom's basement.
But also, say that comment again. Say it again.
Do you have to take down people in larger bodies?
What's the next part?
Maybe we both should be accommodated.
Agreed. Isn't that what I'm saying?
So close to the
You're
point.
So close. I'm saying we should both. And when did I take down anybody? I'm saying this is a great rule.
Saying it like she puts on a fat suit to go on a plane. Someone in a larger body. Also, people that actually need these things don't. You can advocate without putting others down.
How did I put others down? Every response that I wrote was me saying, no, I'm saying this is a great rule. I love this rule.
It's not just for fat people quotes.
When did I say the word fat people?
Okay. This is just
how
insane.
Infuriating, right?
Oh boy. Hey, it did numbers.
It did numbers. It got 30,000 views, which is, I was not trying to do numbers. I was not trying to rage bait. 100 comments. I was not trying to rage bait. Somebody did comment and go to my defense and say, when did she ever say that? Like, agreeing with me. And then somebody else said, really my point, which is this is highlighting how shitty airline seats are overall. Why are we prioritizing customers' comfort and safety? We should all have adequate room without needing special accommodations. And I'm like, agreed. We're saying the same thing. Why are you taking me down when I wasn't trying to take you down? And I also totally get that. And then I responded to somebody and I said, I'm saying this is an awesome policy change and I want to keep the conversation going while the higher ups are clearly showing some basic humanity. And then somebody responded and said, well, your tone is very condescending. You should work on that.
So this is a prime opportunity to discuss this is about myself, but that you just typed that out. So I was just talking to someone about this, that how people read text is text, any word, is always leans more negative.
Always.
So they're just reading what's going on in their heads. Yep. So like, because I could read this like, oh, in light of the fact that airlines offer free extra seats for passengers who can't fit comfortably in one, I'd love to add to your consideration. Could I please, like, if you had done a video where you were like, hey guys, like, I like just heard that Southwest is like accommodating some passengers. Like, I wonder if it'd be possible for me to get one. Yeah. Like boobs out, sad face, titty, whatever. Like, people totally, oh my God, yes, get this girl an extra seat. Thank God, you. Blah, blah, blah. But because people are like, oh wow, look at this fucking skinny cunt, blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone's reading everything so mad. I posted, you know, there's like a trend now, like where people say, may this like type of love never find me. Yeah. Yes, I love those comments. Posted like a jokey, Josh and I got stuff for a charcuterie board. It was on his table, and by chance he had just gotten a bunch of Zins, so they were next to like all the cheese and stuff. Cheese, so I joked and took a video. I was like, oh my God, thanks, babe. And someone was like, may this type of love never find me. And I said, may a sense of humor find you. And then someone was like, don't worry, it's just rage bait. 0 out of 10. People have a hard time coming up with original ideas. I was like, how is this rage inducing? Maybe take a walk. Yeah. And she was like, rage bait, critical thinking, and like down arrows. And then I just sent her a heart. I love her. And then someone asked if my boyfriend was Ian Fidance, because unfortunately...
Well, there's, yes.
And not unfortunately, no disrespect to Ian. Josh and Ian bear some resemblances. Yeah, I am comment hurt worse.
Just blown away by
the immediate, like, people see it and are like, can't take a breath and be like, oh, someone just posting a jokey video online, as if everything is life and death and serious. Yeah. Why on earth would you, like, if I saw someone with oxygen on my TikTok and I like saw what they posted, I wouldn't be like.
That was what was crazy too, is the other aspect of the two conditions that we are comparing. Also,
it wasn't like you're like, I'm so skinny and tall, I need 2 seats. You were like, could I legally get a bag? Like, would it, like, and because also that person being like, this policy exists for you. Can you imagine going on a plane and being, oh, sorry, my bag needs a seat? Yes. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that.
No, and it's not even that big of a bag. Like, it's tiny enough that, like, my flight there to LA.
It would look like you could move it.
Absolutely. My flight there to LA, I did happen to have a seat next to me open, and the guy next to me, like on the other side of that seat, we just shared. We fit so many things on that seat with my bag.
So nice. Me and a guy did that recently.
Yeah, and we shared it, and it was like, because my bag is not that big, it absolutely does. But also, I can't put it anywhere else, so it is frustrating after on a long ass flight to have that on me. But it was like, you know, and to get into, which I won't even because I'm still above this, but to get into comparing why someone would need 2 seats in the ways that we're describing, right? One of them is a terminal illness, right? And one of them is a very different conversation that I'm not interested in getting into because I'm going to get canceled. Yeah. But there are a lot of health reasons that somebody is larger and needs help, right? But I guarantee you most of the people commenting that on there are people who have dealt with, and I have a lot of sympathy for this, have dealt with a lot of people being very rude to them because of their size, and therefore see anything and just assume that if a skinny person is writing it, that they are trying to be a dick. Yeah. However, I would think that given my circumstances that I explained in it.
Or given their circumstances, if people have been rude to you, how do you have less empathy for someone? Thank you.
Right, exactly. When I'm not trying to compare at all, I'm not comparing.
You said nothing about your body or their bodies. You just said uncomfortable in a seat for one.
Yeah, and I was saying, like, again, in
I'm
the way of
uncomfortable in a seat for one.
Now that they've been rebooting these shows, this is the show I think could be a good reboot as well. How is that a yes?
Just because I said one thing doesn't mean I said the other thing is shitty.
Yeah, but I understand that when when that policy took place, which was like a year or two
I like
ago.
blue cheese. I'm not anti-ranch.
Yeah. Yep.
Can everyone stop
Thank you.
yelling?
When that policy took place, I remember it hitting the news and then people being really nasty about it and being like, well, I'm tall and I have trouble sitting in seats. Why don't I get a free seat?
Because you're poor.
Right. Yep. And somebody also said to me, like, well, you could pay for, if you need, like, you want to be able to put your bag at your feet or whatever, you want more space, you could, somebody wrote, like, there are seats that you could, but you have to pay for them, like seats with more room. And I was like, people on oxygen are not allowed to sit in the emergency row. Like, obviously.
I am the emergency.
Right. I'm the do you want me helping you off the plane? No, you fucking don't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, if I tried to buy a ticket like that, if I tried to buy.
What's the first thing that comes down to emergency? More oxygen.
More
you
oxygen.
think I'm your
Yep.
girl?
Yep.
You think I'm going to help?
I am not your girl.
No.
I'm the one you're carrying out there, my lifeless body, okay?
We're pushing you down the slide first. Out the
go
way.
down first, yep. Yeah, but I was just blown away by how easy it is to just lose any humanity.
To the, like, am I crazy?
Yes.
When you're getting hundreds of comments being like, you stuck up, oxygen needing, skinny ass scarecrow bitch. And you're like, wait, what?
What? I was like, I'm saying, and also, I don't think I could have put it in a kinder way in the way I wrote it. Like,
No.
people who may not fit in, like, traditional sizes, whatever I said, like.
You said just can't comfortably fit in a seat.
Comfortably
if
fit.
my
That could
knee
be
is
anybody.
broken, I can't fit. Like, I have knee problems.
That could be anyone.
I get an aisle seat, so when it's safe to do so,
Mm-hmm.
I can move my legs around and get up and comfortably do that. Is it comfortable? No. But whenever I'm uncomfortable on a plane, luckily someone that has no physical disability, all I think is, like, if I want to complain, I gotta make more money. Like, there's nothing to complain about. We're on a bus in the sky.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah. And the fact that I'm already on a flight is a luxury.
However,
and
you
I
shouldn't
totally
be
understand
penalized for being disabled.
Yes, thank you. And that was basically my point, in the same way that you should not be penalized for being larger and not feeling comfortable on that long of a flight in a seat that you don't fit in comfortably, and also knowing that it's encroaching into other people's space and all of that. Obviously, I'm not going to be that person who's like, to be fair, I never even said I was talking about overweight people. Yes, I was. Obviously, that's the policy. I'm not going to pretend that wasn't true. Of course I was. But I'm saying that's a good rule, and I'm happy that people got it.
Southwest would attempt to accommodate too.
Absolutely.
And you had to travel like that. The accommodations there. I was trying to think about it. Like, if you have a baby, I was thinking, like, you don't technically have to buy another seat under a certain age.
Yeah. You can
but
have
then
a
if you want to have a car seat, you do have to buy the second seat.
Yep.
But I was also thinking, like, I've been on flights that had an empty row, and I'll ask the flight attendant when we're closing boarding.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I move to that? Like, I always ask because I don't know weight distribution, because I'm going to move the whole plane myself.
Yeah.
No, I just like to ask because I
Yeah.
also don't want to be rude. They're doing a job, and safety-wise, they need to know numbers and stuff. Also, someone just stowed away on a plane to Paris from New York.
Producer and friend, Neil Wood here. Brief commercial break.
Hey, hold right there. Don't dare skip this. This is an important message. Me and my boy Albert Davis, we want to tell you about our podcast, Seriously Dad. Albert, why should they listen?
Because it's the best podcast in the world. It's by two comedians who are dads, and you know what we're talking about? Being dads. It's called Seriously Dad. Check us out on social media at Seriously Dad Podcast, and
anywhere you get your podcast. That's where we're at. We're funny. We got some great guests coming our way. We cover the topics you want to hear. Check us out.
Also, someone just stowed away on a plane to Paris from New York.
Incredible. Incredible.
I wonder how many seats they got.
Yeah.
But yeah, the posting on the internet will never not be negative.
Yeah.
Like, I've never posted something that's been accepted with my intention behind it. And I've been thinking about this. I probably said this on the podcast a long time ago. Maybe last winter, this girl I know said that I would do better on TikTok basically what she said, if I was more likable.
Oh.
And I was like, I would do better on TikTok if other people like themselves more.
Agreed. Yeah.
That's always what
that is exactly it. Yeah.
Because I was just like, there's nothing I can switch to make everyone feel more comfortable. Like, I did something like, you've been with me when, like, I can tell someone is bothering everyone and I'll say something to that person and everyone, like, even if they're thinking what I'm thinking, will immediately be like, ooh, because I said the thing I wasn't supposed to say. I was out with some friends this weekend. And there was a woman who was like, I don't know her, friend of a friend, nice enough. Mm-hmm. But then she was just like making fun of people with Philly accents. She was making fun of the Philly accent in general.
Girlfriend.
We are out at a bar in Old City, Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Mere steps from the Liberty Bell.
Show some goddamn
I'm sitting
respect.
next to one of my good friends who has the thickest hoagie mouth I have ever heard on this planet. And this girl is saying, so I hear it out of the corner of my ear because I'm watching the game this way. Mm-hmm. And I see my friends kind of start sipping and like it's getting a little... No one wants to say something, just letting it go, whatever. So I just looked at her, I said, where are you from? Yeah. She says where she's from. Mind you, she's wearing Eagle stuff. She's from the area.
Sure.
And I said, you don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Like, if it bothers you so much, you can go home. You can go home. And she was like, I was like, no, I'm serious. Yeah. Why would you come here wearing a jersey that says Philadelphia to watch a game for a team based in Philadelphia with a bunch of people who live in Philadelphia to make fun of an accent? Yeah. And she immediately was like, well, blah, 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 blah. And I saw all my friends like recoil. Mm-hmm. I just was like, that's what like the stuff where my brain doesn't get, where I'm like, we're all thinking the same thing. Why am I getting in trouble for saying? And like I didn't get in trouble. Like everyone was just like,
no, totally.
I was like, I know I'm stirring the pot, but I was like, I'm so sick of hearing people bitch about stuff when no one else needs to hear it. Like, about to circle it all the way back, first step of this series, like, when you're a manager, like, she just wanted to be heard. Yeah. So then when I was like, that came to my senses a lot, I was like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, what is the accent more like? Like,
where are you just trying to start a conversation?
Are you just feeling alone? Like, where's your dad at? Like, let's get down to it. Always. Like,
when did he leave your family?
Yeah.
At what age? Because
did he move home with someone? Yeah. So he moved to Poconos.
He moved to the fucking creek.
Yeah. And I just was like, there's always a better way always a softer way to handle things and whatever. But I just was feeling like we don't all have to listen to someone else be miserable.
Agreed.
I turn off. I said I had a TikTok recently and like it started anything negative, anything that seems like you're stirring an opinion does well on TikTok, which is bad. Well, in quotes. Right. And I posted something and I've said, I am this educated on this subject. This is my background on this. This is solely an opinion. And immediately, the videos, maybe 2 minutes, comments being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Your family, this, blah, 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 this whole thing. And I was like, did you watch the entire video? Yeah, blah, no one ever does. Blah, blah. I block comments. They DM me. You can't hide from me, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're blocked again. And I just was like, I don't know what's a bot and what's a real person, honestly, sitting there so angry doing that. But it comes back to my always thing to resurrect is, have you no shame? How are people not embarrassed to behave like that? That's why my like resurrect things for myself for like, chill out, relax. Yeah. Like so many things I just react and I'm like, what am I, a comment section? Yeah. Like there's so many times where I'm just like, why did that even bother me in this, like we're all dying. Why did that bother? There's so many things where I'm like, why did that even... I'm glad things go through my system as fast as they do. Like, I get mad and I'm like, blah, 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 and then I'm like, whatever.
But that's, I think, how it works when it happens in real life, in real time. Yeah. And
True. If I typed out... Yes. I got in a situation where I was mad at someone. I left the room for an hour. My family, Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then I, like, typed 3 paragraphs in my notes app. Yep. Never sent. I just shook it off and came back down. Sure. Because I was like... Who knows? Yeah, because probably a lot of fault coming both ways, but
yes, and I was just very surprised by that reaction because something I work on.
If you didn't have your oxygen on and just were like suggesting it, like looking able-bodied, but you shouldn't need to have fucking tubes in for people to have empathy for you.
Agreed, and I'm saying I have empathy for this and love that this happened.
I also wonder if people were like, hey. If that was a policy across the board, you're willing to pay for 2 seats, and if it happens and works out that a second seat is open, you get refunded for it because you wouldn't have had to pay for it. It would have just shook out that way. Sure. Maybe that's a policy we have.
Yes, and that's...
Because I would pay for that. Sometimes I pay for like extra seat upgrades and stuff because I'm usually by myself. I don't want to be near someone. I like getting off a plane fast. Like as fast as I can be away from anybody in close quarters. I feel way better. So I'm just like, I guarantee the people that have the time to complain on TikTok, or not people that travel often.
No. Or leave their house.
Or have any idea what getting on a plane like. And that's not even like an elitist bullshit thing. Yeah. That's like more of just like if you have that much anger just to like, how did they even find you?
Yeah. Yes.
I find this with everything on TikTok. It's so negativity fueled.
Right. Well, people
Which is
don't
crazy. You think
comment.
I would be doing amazing.
It's kind of like how the rule of thumb with like reviews for restaurants is like you have to take them with a grain of salt, knowing that
the worst people you know write them.
Yeah, it's like when you do a scientific study and you have to also take into account your sample size, which is like who was interviewed. Like if you interviewed people about a Philly thing and this interview happened at the King of Prussia Mall, not nationwide, then we have a different whatever. And when you are dealing with something like reviews or comments now, you're dealing with the fact that most people don't feel inclined. Most of us like something, we laugh, and we move on. You don't comment or write a review typically when you enjoyed, unless it was the best experience of your life or whatever. Yeah. Then you do. So therefore, most comments are negative because most people who just enjoyed something just enjoy it, like it, and leave.
I just heard a girl at the restaurant I'm at who I know because I took her order, 3 substitutions in an order. Was fighting with someone the whole time. And one of the people she was with was like, oh, are you going to write a review here? She's like, yeah, I write a review pretty much anywhere I eat. And all I thought was like the mindset of someone who was in a personal argument with someone at an intimate restaurant, changed and subbed out multiple things on what was on the menu. Like, that's the person writing a review? Like, of course
it's
it is.
Always the people writing reviews, right? And it's like,
that's great. You have an outlet, but it impacts other people. Like people used to have diaries. Like,
yes.
You used to not have a TikTok where you were shaming people or shaming restaurants.
There's this like incredible thing that we have that I don't think a lot of people know about in America, where you can actually, there are people who go to school for this thing where they learn how to listen to your problems.
Yeah. And
they get a degree in it. And then you can actually go see those people and tell them what's going on in your life. And you can tell them your problems, or you can tell them like your wins and all of that.
But why would you do that when the internet exists?
And that's the thing, right? Obviously, it's way cheaper and way more fun to do it that way. But anybody who's not getting enjoyment out of all the comments that they're writing on the internet, you can look it up. I forget what it's called. Do you remember?
The thing they go to school for, I forget what it's called.
Fuck.
Talking to people.
Want me to look it up real quick?
Yeah, can you look it up now?
Yeah.
Type in, I don't know how to Google it succinctly. People who listen to people bitching.
Okay. Give me a sec.
Intellectuals listening to common people.
Hair salons next to near me.
I'm putting all that in. Got it.
How to start a podcast?
Theraply, is that how you say it?
That's it.
Theraply.
I was thinking podcasting, but that's also good. Yeah.
Well, I have that with OnlyFans. Is like people, I'm serious. Like people will.
It says OnlyFans.
People will think guys will respond, will message me or just like respond really rudely.
Sure.
And I will straight up message back. Try again. Not a bot.
Yep.
This is a person. 9 times out of 10, they fully melt, panic. So sorry, I shouldn't be taking out this, and just divulge personal stuff and just freak out. And I'm just like,
they just needed somebody.
They just were going on these like chats to yell at people that they thought were bots. But that's not even their excuse. It's like the mentality of like hating women, and also just the mentality of like, this person will never see this. I get messages like that a lot on Instagram and stuff. Sometimes people will be rude. They're like, well, I'd never think you would see this. And I was like, if you never thought I would see it, why would you write it to me? Why didn't you just write it in a book and stick it under your pillow at night? Like, why am I involved in this?
Yeah. You saying that does make me want to also not be part of the complain culture, and also highlight something good that I saw on this post that I would like to share, which was a comment from somebody named, I'm going to say Jackie, Jaci, who said, it actually is the comment that we were talking about. Maybe we both should be accommodated. Is this person?
Yes.
And I said, if there's a takedown here, then I clearly missed it. He said, we shouldn't take down other bodies. I said, if there's a takedown here, I missed it. I'm saying this is an awesome policy. Let's keep it rolling while airlines are showing humanity. Jackie responded and said, it's possible I misread the tone of this because people have absolutely treated me horribly for my body size and flying. Access for all, heart. And I said, access for all, indeed. That's the mission post of this statement.
Cunt.
Yeah. Right. That's what they think of me. But I do want to say that I thought that was a very cool thing to see a human being on TikTok be like, oh, it's possible I misread this. And then we both agreed because we had a conversation about it. Most people will never respond.
I love that she still said it's possible I misread it. No, I'm telling you, you misread it.
But I appreciate that she said
you said why. She said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, like, that she said it's possible I misread this because people have treated me horribly because of my body size and flying. And I was like, I appreciate that you are acknowledging that and that we came to a conclusion about it because and then I wrote, I feel you, we deserve to see the world like everyone else. In terms of flying. So I do want to highlight one nice thing, which was that person had enough of an understanding to not just double down or ignore it, but to write back and be like, oh, fair enough, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I want to highlight that because I'd like to see more of it.
Your house.
Yeah.
I was just looking at like one of my TikToks that like people immediately like freak out at me about. Mm-hmm. Like I posted one, like I got one of those messages I thought was spam. And it was just like, hey, Derek. Wait, it said, it's Derek. Is this Becca? And I was like, yeah, it's me, Becca. Yeah. I was like doing nothing that day. And then he was like, we're going to go to this bar, like named a bar in Maniac if you want to join. And then I was like, oh my God, it's like maybe not spam. Mm-hmm. And I said, where's that? And he said, LOL, Maniac. And then he was like, what color shirt were you wearing the night that we met? And I was like, oh, buddy, Becca gave you the wrong number. I thought this was spam and I was bored.
Yeah.
And he was like, I thought you were the cute girl I met. And for some reason I said, nope, I'm a fat old man. And he said, you could join us for the game too. And everyone on TikTok immediately was like, he's such a good dude. Like, why didn't you go meet him? Why, like, this isn't spam. Like, I can't believe you do this. He seems sweet. He seems sweet. And I was like, oh, everyone just hates women.
Yeah.
I was like, this is an insane message. And also, why would I go meet this person?
Yeah.
He seems sweet. I said, I was a fat old man, and he said, okay, you can come too. Like, the bar is so low.
Yeah.
Versus you're like, hey, I wish my disability could get accommodated. And they're like, shut up. You've never known anything before. Your brain doesn't work, just like your body. Like,
stay home and be sick. Get back to the hospital.
It is.
Yeah, right. Like, obviously, yes, he was kind in the text, but that doesn't mean you're now required to go to the bar.
I'm trying to find another one.
It's like that. Do you remember that, like, famous, it was like 5, maybe 8 years ago when that grandmother texted the wrong number.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Classic. And then she said, like, what time dinner was, and he said, like, you got the wrong number, but we're coming anyway. And then he did, and then now they're this unlikely friendship. Before we wrap, because we need to.
Oh yeah, I had a hypothetical for you, but
go ahead, please.
Yours. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a question. Would you? Mm-hmm. You get an all expense paid vacation, flights, all inclusive Caribbean tropical trip, but
I can't fly.
But you're fat and get one seat. No. But every night you have to get dinner with my entire family. Do you do it?
Both sides?
Just my immediate.
Okay. Just immediate. Mm-hmm. Does Sophia come? Mm-hmm. I kind of want. Is Josh there? Mm-hmm. Are you there? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I was like, I'm taking your place. Like, Josh is with me.
Well, truly, this is my hypothetical. I've been trying to make this a joke. So I was asking you as a hypothetical. I'm trying to make it a joke because it's basically Josh got asked to come on my family's trip. Uh-huh. But I was posing it like that.
But he has to.
I was like, babe, come on down. You want a contest. All expense paid trip.
Yeah.
But every night you have to get dinner with my family. Do you do it?
I would.
Caveat. Listening?
I would. Since Sophia will be there.
True.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I would for Sophia.
Yes.
Sophia is Jamie's baby niece. Who
honestly
is a queen.
I was like, that is such a good, but I was like, it's such a funny idea of a hypothetical. Like, if you're on a game show.
You're just describing a family trip.
You win this, but you have to sit through 3 hours of family time every day of the vacation.
But it's just what a vacation is. Yeah. That is great.
I just don't know how to do it on stage.
Yeah. No, yes, I would. because of Sophia.
Please.
And also I
get
think
a flight, join us.
Also I think because they're not my direct family, your tolerance is always
easier,
higher
yeah.
because it's not you don't have all the history.
Right. I'm about to jump out of the plane.
Right. Like I know a lot, but okay. My question for you is, do you think, this is so wild, I'm sorry.
Please.
Do you think that you have seen, as in looked at a clock at the moment and seen every time AM and PM in your life?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Why?
I sleep. Like, the amount of times I've seen 4 a.m., like that hour, has only been like a handful. And they were nannying or really drunk.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
Like that 4 a.m. window, like, I also, like, if it's like a time I can't sleep, I really try to stay away from looking.
Okay. Do you think you've seen every PM minute? Like, looked at the clock and it's 12:31.
Part of my brain is like, do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
Are you clairvoyant? Like, can you tell me more than I know? Probably just for how hyper anxious I am and like touch my phone and watch it.
But not just
clocks.
like that you actively were looking at the clock, right? Not just like you picked up your phone and opened it and there's a notification.
I'm going to say probably because I've had some pretty time suck jobs.
And high school, I think, is a big part of school in general.
That's just like me looking at the clock on the wall.
Yeah. Okay.
I also have clocks in my house. Like a lot of people
you do.
don't. I'm big on clocks in the house, so I don't always have to look at a screen.
Sure. Okay.
Have you?
I think I have probably.
Hospitals like on the wall, probably.
There is clocks on the wall in the hospital. And also I'm up often very late.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, we're different in that. Like yours probably would be mornings.
I probably have not seen 5 a.m. very much unless I was still awake at 5 a.m.
That one like weird 4:30.
Yeah.
It hits or miss. But then I also look at I'm like, there's probably flights I've gone on and had to get up at 4:30.
Yeah.
Like I have like crazy alarms on my phone starting from 2 a.m. till 8 p.m. and everywhere in between. For some reason, I never delete those.
I'm kind of the same way, yeah. Okay, yeah. That was just, I was thinking about it because I remember asking someone that question in high school and it started a very long debate. I do have one more, but I'm going to save it for next time because I think it's going to be I think it's going to pop us off too much.
Okay.
But, last one that we can end on, topical. What is your favorite or like
the
that
Santa
makes...
Claus.
What'd you say?
The Santa Claus.
2. What's your favorite sequel? What is your favorite of the things on the internet, like you were saying, like I hope I never find a love like this or whatever.
Yeah.
What makes you giggle the most in terms of like little isms, like comments people do? Because I heard one recently that made me laugh. What was it that I've seen it a lot, but it always makes me laugh. When people go, instead of like when you would say like, I'm not gonna lie, that was awesome, Jamie.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I'm gonna lie, that was awesome. They say I'm gonna lie.
That's funny.
That always makes me laugh.
You know what's crazy? I don't know. Most of them bother me. Most of them because it feels like people trying to say the thing first.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to think though. There are small internet things that make me laugh.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I think it's I'm gonna lie right now. That makes me laugh a lot. I've seen people. Like someone, posts like the worst article you've ever seen and someone's like terrible day to know how to read.
Well, that's good.
Those make
like
me laugh. Yeah.
I was thinking I hate the I was today years old when I learned this.
So millennial
But there's
cringy,
one that I was trying to think of that's similar to that where you're like, I could have gone my life without one of those, like I could have gone without seeing this. Or
my whole life without knowing this.
But I do like what you're saying, like the inverse ones where it's like a really dumb video and they're like, I didn't know I needed this. Like those ones, like where like it's something insane.
Yeah.
Or I do like when I just see people be like, don't know why I sat through this whole thing. Like I watched I even watched some girl's hair tutorial video last night. I just saw some guy be like, I'm bald, watch this whole thing. Not sure why. Like those.
Yes.
Not sure why.
Yes, I love those. They always make me laugh when they're used correctly and well. Okay. I'll let you think about it then for next time.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's it. And we
Hey, producer Neil Wood, subscribe now to the Dying Up Here podcast at Dying Up Here Pod on YouTube. And make sure to follow Kirsten and Jamie on all the stuff. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcasts, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY, just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.